Hello fellow wand lovers and welcome back to the channel. The first wave of TechArts customizations has finally arrived. Today we will be going over all the customization options available to Techter, explore their merits, demerits, and which ones I personally recommend to use. Let's start with Wand. Wand received 3 customization options for Swift Smash. Type 1 increases charged potency, but also increases charge time to balance it out. The math on that checks out. Both Vanilla and Type 1 Swift Smash have the same DPS. There is a big caveat to this though, because charge time increases from 1 to 3 seconds. Unlike Hunter's overcharge ability, this does not create a new charging stage, so this customization option ends up being very problematic in general use. Charging up a Swift Smash within 1 second is very important due to the general tempo of the combat, not to mention it's one of our main combat tools. There is some silver lining to this of course. If pre-charged, this customization will be a serious nuke to unleash. Pre-charging refers to charging an attack up when the enemy isn't vulnerable. This could make Wand an interesting multi-weapon to consider. I haven't had the chance to try this yet, but it's possible this craft will be strong during attack speed days in Seal. For general use I wouldn't recommend it though. Type 2 removes gap closing, adds ranged shockwaves that inflict photonic furies, increases speed but reduces potency, and increases PP cost slightly. This customization option borders on Type 0 territory from PSO2's crafting. The entire purpose and behavior of the PA changes from a gap closing attack to a mining rig cleanup tool. The shockwaves pierce and inflict photonic furies, but on bosses rarely hit the body part you're targeting. I wouldn't really recommend it for any other content other than mining rigs. The fact that you're a sitting duck while using it hurts a lot, and during PSC bursts I recommend using Wave Crash anyway. Type 3 adds Wand element pursuit buildup, and increases PP cost slightly. This customization increases pursuit buildup by 50% per swing. Instead of 6 charge swings it now takes 4, in order to fully charge up the revoke button. This directly improves our DPS, elemental down buildup as well as PP economy, and I'd highly recommend this customization for general use, as it comes with virtually no disadvantages. On Talus we received 3 customization options for Convergence Shot. Type 1 increases potency after 20 seconds of deployment, while doubling deployment duration, and reducing PP cost. This customization sounds great on paper, however, it comes with a lot of issues. This skill is actively incompatible with Talus Bloom PP After, which recovers 60 PP after redeploying your Talus formation, and usually caps out after 10 seconds. Redeploying your formation counts as a formation ending, so the timer for the additional potency resets. Weapons like Melek feel almost mandatory to make the most out of this customization option. Type 1 also discourages you from using any other weapon, since switching weapons, even with a multi-weapon system, ends your Talus formation. This customization is unfortunately incompatible with the Techter Ranger build I recommended a few videos ago. So where does this customization shine most? Honestly, with how much offensive PP recovery you gain from Defi augments, I'd say dual quests are the perfect environment for this customization. Talus weapon action will be perfectly capable to keep you topped off by itself. However, I believe this is overall the worst customization option you can pick. Over the duration of 40 seconds, it only buffs your overall damage by 5%, assuming you maximize the period of time where you get boosted by 10%. Meanwhile, you still have to deal with the accuracy issues of Talus. Which is something the Type 2 customization fixes, and then some. Type 2 turns converged techniques into hitscan attacks, while doubling the inflicted down factor. This customization is frankly insane, as now both Tricky Capacitor and Convergence Shot never miss. The amount of flexibility this gives is incredible. You can stand on the other side of the boss and have no visual contact with the weak point, but as long as you can lock onto it, you will hit. It's useful in certain fights where the weak point is always accessible but easy to miss, like with Amskaris. You can also use it to attack the head on Nils Stia. In Phase 1 it's always accessible weak point, but in Phase 2 it's a breakable part that triggers a special down. And thanks to the increased elemental down buildup you'll be inflicting these like crazy. Talus becomes the best weapon for Techter to inflict elemental downs with. You can really help out your party with this. This gives Talus a really solid niche to fill in our kit. Everyone memes on Ilgrin's spam from PSO2, because that technique was just that powerful, but despite Grants being roughly 25% weaker, it still saw a lot of use, simply because Grants never missed. So, even if Talus is weaker than Wand or Rod, in certain situations swapping to it will be extremely beneficial with this customization. You need to watch out though. Certain bosses you don't want to elemental down too early. Lizentos, for example, is better to elemental down after his weak point has been exposed. Type 3 improves tricky capacitor buildup, and increases PP cost slightly. This customization is very standard, but it helps Talus a lot in bossing situations. Not only does it increase your overall DPS, but also your PP economy, as it now takes only 16 seconds to charge up a tricky capacitor. If you're a force, it takes even less with 11 seconds required. It's a straight upgrade over vanilla Convergence Shot, and I'd recommend this over Type 1 if you're planning to use Talus as a main weapon. There are no needless complications with multi-weapons while improving everything across the board. Now, let's talk about techniques. Type 1 Foie increases explosion range, while increasing PP cost slightly. This is pretty good for AoE and makes Foie better at its job. Type 2 on the other hand increases attack speed, while reducing charge time and potency. Attack speed refers to the technique casting animation, making Foie much faster to use, both uncharged and charged. It honestly reminds me of Phantom, with how quick and snappy it feels. This customization is slightly lower in DPS than vanilla but builds resources much faster. If you use an uncharged Foie after a Fomelgen, you'll also see a slight DPS increase compared to vanilla. I believe this customization might be the best one on Techter for general use. A faster Foie allows us to access skip beat quicker and overall improve our gameplay tempo. Type 3 doubles elemental down factor and increases Foie brand buildup while increasing PP cost slightly. This customization feels more tailor-made for Force. Foie brand buildup is a little bit irrelevant for us Techters since it's a mechanic we don't interact with, outside of compound technique follow-ups. Type 1 Zon seeks to improve accuracy by increasing the AoE of the vortex that happens after using a charge technique on marked enemies, while also consolidating the attack into a single hit. It also slightly raises PP cost. I can see the appeal of this customization. Wider AoE certainly helps when stacking a group of enemies, but I don't like this as much as Type 2. Speaking of which, Type 2 increases the range and speed of the charged attack, while raising PP cost slightly. This is my favorite one because normally charged Zon is painfully slow, but with this customization it's so quick, blink and you'll miss it. Type 3 doubles elemental down factor and increases compound tech buildup, while increasing PP cost slightly. This is a straight upgrade over the vanilla one, but I wouldn't use it myself. In AoE situations I usually build enough resources as is, so buffing these values kinda feels like overkill to me. But it is definitely a good customization to consider regardless. Type 1 grants consolidates charged attacks into a single hit while increasing charge time and potency. The improvement to accuracy is incredible, but the increase to charge time is not. This customization feels tailor-made for Force, since the longer charge time sees more benefits during Photon Flare. Type 2 adds guard frames at the beginning of the cast animation, while increasing PP cost by a moderate amount. This is another customization where Force shines brighter than Techter, not that I mind. Technique guard frames are quite awesome on both classes. On Techter it triggers a Photonic Fury, which is really nice. However, on Force, it triggers an elemental bullet which skyrockets their DPS for that technique. It even has a small shield animation to visually indicate that you're protected. That's really neat. Type 3 doubles elemental down factor, increases compound tech buildup and increases PP cost slightly. This is probably the best version of grants to go with on Techter. The downside is that we're going to have to deal with grants' shitty accuracy, but I've been using a Neos Justitian wand to deal with that problem. On an elemental wand I don't have to reapply element immediately, so I can just wait for the right moment to cast grants. But on the flip side we're gonna inflict much more elemental down factor than before. And that's about it for the first wave of TechArts customizations. I'll show my preferred customizations summarized on the screen again real quick. What do you guys think about this system? I'm personally having a lot of fun experimenting and trying to figure out the strengths and weaknesses of each customization option. I can only imagine how a new player will feel once every tech and PA is added to this system. Anyway, I hope this little breakdown was helpful. As always, big thanks to all my lovely wand lovers for supporting this channel. You can join for just $1 a month. I hope you'll have a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care!